Get my glasses on first. Back in the late 80s, we were on vacation, went up towards Green Bay, and I bought this at some antique store. Madison Avenue Antiques, $12.95. It was in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Who made it? I don't know, doesn't say nothing on there.
Gary Light?
Huh?
Gary Light?
Gary Light.
You sure? No. Anyway, for that much, I thought it was okay. This one, years ago, before they redid the road Shakopee, downtown there was an antique store on the north side of the highway there. And you could go in and they had a big wooden box with all these kinds of decoys in there. Well, I bought this one, I don't know if I paid $8, $9 for it. I don't know who. Anybody know who made this? It's not a, it's a factory, I think. Something about the
Animal Trapper.
Say Animal Trapper.
Or
animal trap, probably.
Yeah.
But do they do this kind of weight in the bottom?
I don't remember how the Animal
No.
Trap did.
No.
They did.
No.
So, I don't know, paid
Somebody
$10,
might have.
$11 for it. So. Danny gets 45 of his, I should be able to get 145 of this.
Whoa.
Sounds like a sales job to me.
What a bunch of nice guys.
Seeing we're doing the old one. 50-some years ago, my grandmother gave me these decoys. I have a bunch more of these. They belong to my grandpa. And it was shortly after he died, she gave them to me, and I have no idea who made either one of these decoys. I sort of screwed them up because I was going to be a big duck hunter, and I painted them, which I wished I never would have done. But does anybody know who made these two decoys?
That's an Oscar Quam.
That looks like Quam, yeah.
A Husker Quam?
Oscar Quam, Oscar Spicerman, so.
Oscar Quam, okay. And this one here, it's, I think it's cork, but it's got like a canvas burlap cover on it.
That's compressed sawdust.
Swan Douglas Manufacturing on 38th and Lindale in Minneapolis.
One or one?
Swan.
One Douglas and Oscar Quam.
Swan dust.
Swan Douglas.
Write it down, write it down.
That's what I'm gonna do.
You forget before you get out of my own.
Well, before I get out of the meeting.
I'll jump up. Like I say, I came back here to, my son just moved into a house. I came back to put a new kitchen in for him because I was a cabinet maker before I retired. And when I moved to Colorado, I had hunted over 70 decoys that I carved over the years and up on leech and what have you. And I couldn't figure out why I was short decoys when I got moved. Well, it turns out I went up to Alaska to see my son. He's a guide, he's a fish guide up there. There were 6 of them in his kitchen, you know. One of my favorite widgeons, by the way. But anyway, so I came down and I was helping my son move into this new house, and lo and behold, I found 2 of my decoys that I actually wasn't missing. But I had some fun with these. I decided to get stylistic, and these actually, you'll look at them, they're beat up. I hunted them, and so I did the Drake, and then I said, well, it has to have a mate. So anyway, kind of getting reacquainted with them, but I'm glad that they wanted to borrow them. They're going to end up with the other, 70 or 60 some, and they can do what they want with them. But I ended up, yeah. I was pretty proud that they wanted them. So
What wood?
this is all white cedar. You remember when they had the blowdown in the Boundary Waters back in the 2000s, and then it was burnt. That went through leach, and we were hunting at the leach, hunted just south of Bear Island. A friend of mine had a hunting camp up there, and it was a very interesting hunting camp. It was the old St. Paul hunting camp, and it came down to 2 families that ended up with the camp through attrition, death, and sales. And so I was fortunate to know Terry, and they had their own boathouse. We were still hunting out of the old, who was it made them, the aluminum duckers. And,
Long duckers?
Yeah, he had like 6 of them still in there, and people are collecting them. We were using them to hunt. But I was towing them with as a chase boat down I had a 16-foot with a 50 horse on it. But anyway, so that blowdown hit there, and Terry had a big swamp there, and I ended up with enough white cedar. I did 13 Canada goose decoys out of some big cedar, and then I've got enough for still another 160 decoys that I took out of that cedar swamp over a period of a number of weeks, and over actually a period of 3 months, but going up and cutting as they're just laying there. So yeah, so these are out of that white cedar. They're all hollow.
Ask you something? You said you got that white cedar out of the boundary water area?
No, I did. It went through leach before it hit the boundary water. That same storm.
Okay.
And then so it was just
So that's
Pikedale or Pike. What is it? Pike camp up there. Anyway, it's just south of Bear Island up on leach. And
But it also went into Superior National Forest too, didn't it?
yes, it all went right up through there, and it hit leach before it hit everything,
Yeah.
and it blew down that cedar swamp. So Terry said, "Go in there and take
I
all
took
you
my
want."
canoe into boundary water and I saw a white cedar. You can't touch it, can you?
No, you can't. No.
But
But this
if I go at night,
Yeah. Well, yeah, midnight.
I got that on video.
But yeah, this one all came off the private ground. So,
yeah.
but yeah.
We didn't move off.
What's he laughing about?
Kipper, can you say the part about sneaking in the dark again? Because I'm not sure the audio fits.
Yeah, what point you going at?
I'll get a good shot of your face here.
Oh, boy.
Put some number masterpiece on it, ready to go do it.
Well, I talked to Luke, or didn't talk with Luke. Luke and I have been emailing about, we wanted to look at some tails and some things, so I brought in a couple examples. I'm working on my own, my own set of decoys now. I had a bunch when I was younger, and then when I spent a lot of time in Alaska. My mother sold all about 250 decoys I had while I was gone, which is, things have to happen. So when I came back to Minnesota and back home, I had no decoys. So I'm starting out again. These 2 are basswood. It's supposed to rattle, but when I glued it together and put the marble in there, I don't know where the marble ended up. I figure if I dropped it sometime, it might come loose. So obviously, and they're heavy. This is walnut, so they float pretty well. But it still would need to have a little more weight to be self-righting. Now this one, of course, he rattled. Marble didn't get in the glue on this one. And again, this is basswood. And then this one is made, I'm making them out of different, I'm making pairs out of different things. So I have the hen of the cork is done. This one is cork. It's got a mahogany bottom. And the head is basswood. The tail is basswood. And of course, this is just all painted. So, but anyway, yeah, that would be, the drake is in the process. This head I kind of like because, except for the bill, I didn't sand it. So you'll find out if you rub your hands on it, it's all rough. It's just carved basswood as it was. I thought, well, it'll be a little bit different. A little bit, if you're real intricate with the paint, a little harder to paint. But I thought it'd be, be interesting to do a couple that way too. So that's, yeah, that's it. I just, I'm working kind of on my own rig for a while here.
What kind of paint do you use?
Is your mother still alive?
No, my mother passed away. She,
Did you part on good terms? Or?
oh yeah, no, I was, we were, my uncles were big hunters and they had passed away, and my one uncle was a big trapper, big part of the Minnesota Trappers Association, and he probably had 500 traps. And I had a couple hundred. So when somebody came out there and wanted to buy his sporting goods stuff from my aunt, and of course he had a bunch of decoys. Most of his were no, they weren't old herders, but they were all wood, and they, you know, he had a couple dozen decoys, so I wanted them, of course, but, you know, I wasn't there. But, so he came out, and then my aunt told my mom about it. We only lived a couple miles apart, so, you know, she said, well, you want him to come and look, so he went and looked in our barn and saw all the decoys we had. My dad was a big bluebill hunter, so about 150 of those were bluebill decoys. And so, and then the rest was just a combination of a little bit of everything, you know. Yeah, so no, I came back and we actually were having some problems, and I said, geez, I think I'm gonna have to trap a little bit here, and I realized I did not own a trap anymore. My mother was very efficient, and she literally got rid of all of them. And I'm kind of, in a way, kind of glad, because I looked, that barn fell over with a snow load, and it was like, well, it would have been a mess. But but the decoys were all gone, and I never actually even found out who bought them. So I told my wife, I said, you know, I still have enough junk that they didn't sell. So I guess it's probably good that it was gone, otherwise I'd have more stuff to deal with. I'm acrylic, yeah. I've got some stuff I want to do with oil. I want kind of the older style. I've got a couple of Western, what are they? Western red cedar from the telephone poles. I've got a couple decoys where I want to use oil on them and do more of a stain than an actual pure color. And I'm kind of looking forward to that, to what he's going to do. I'll probably bring one in and see, because I used to monkey around with that a little bit. So, kind of fun.
I can continue with the mallard.
This is mallard that I just finished a couple weeks ago. This was the club project last year. This was the white cedar block. So white cedar, hollow body, white cedar head, that's not hollow, it's solid. I actually followed Tom Mattis's book. So Tom Mattis has kind of a how-to book, so I followed that to try to learn some of the techniques and different parts of that. So helped me a lot with a lot of the detail, and then a lot of the painting with the color and stuff. So it was a good experience. And then walnut bottom, or walnut keel.
Nice.
Acrylic paint, golden acrylics, and golden airbrush paint.
First I pulled out a bunch of Gordon Stiller patterns. I'm gonna have them on the club table and try to sell them for $4 a piece. I thought I'd offer them to you guys first for $3 a piece. If anybody's interested, I brought that an old tack-eye mallard in here, or yeah, it was a tack-eye mallard. This is the same bird. It changed species, but I painted it up, so I figured I'd bring it back and show you that you can resurrect these things. And I'm going to be offering this and a number of other Mason, Hayes, and Pratt decoys that I've fixed up to hunt again.
Oh gee, it's not a duck. Okay, this is a red-bellied woodpecker. It's Tupelo on both pieces. Alkyd oils for a few of us that paint oils. And actually, I don't like the base, but the nice thing about it is you can put this any way you want it, and it kind of shows the bird pretty well. So I thought that was kind of nice. But anyway, got a lot of these in the backyard, and they're always kind of fun to see. I mean, the Phillies are big, but these are kind of nice in their own right.
Have you put that out there to see what they do with it?
No, because I just finally got around to photographing it the other day, so it's just sitting in the house.
Red Village, what?
Red Village woodpecker. Haven't you ever seen them over there in St. Paul? Beef order smell or too much beef processing smell?
They like sweet.
He's
like
throwing
some-
jabs at you.
Too much wilted.
I've got a bucket of birds, but I brought them for the duck butt talk, so we'll wait till we talk about duck butts.
We gonna give them away then? And then
No.
This is a hen golden eye. Just finished it about, I don't know, over Christmas. But it's white pine, soft white pine, with and it's hollowed out. And I paint with oils. The oils I use are Liquitex and Windsor oils that I get at Michael's. It still smells, I can smell it, but it's a good floater, and it does write pretty nicely right now. So
It's a beauty.
Thanks, everyone.